Welcome back to part 2 of the presentation on how we can deliver more value from research in the media and advertising business. When we left part 1, we'd just seen how the recession is affecting market research budgets and how agencies and media owners are adapting to this. But if a client is in the market to buy new research, I wanted to know to what extent price is an issue. The survey asked how much buyers agreed that research usually represented good value for money, and just over half agreed, compared to only 1 in 7 who disagreed. Commoditisation and cheaper methodologies have driven down the cost of some research, but the definition of value for money is a bit ambiguous, I think. After all, how can research be good value for money if it doesn't offer a clear direction to the business? When asked whether they had often left a research presentation thinking "so what?", over 3/4 agreed, which is somewhat at odds with their assessment of value for money. You have to presume that research buyers are talking about presentations they've seen agencies make, or even research presented at conferences by other companies. But what buyers get out of their suppliers partly depends on how close their relationship is with those agencies, and the research uncovered outlines a relative reluctance that I've drawn from that research too close to the business. Trusting external research suppliers as strategic advisors to the business got an average score of 7 out of 10 for importance and 6 out of 10 for performance, both relatively low scores for the survey. I suppose that, to an extent, suppliers are paid more to run a good survey than to tell the business what to do with it. Next, here are some of our research buyers telling me how they think they can get the best value from their supplier relationships.
I think when people leave a market research presentation, they kind of think, so what? Often I think the failure is with the client-side researcher, or the way in which the brief was pitched, often more so than with the agency themselves. Most of the big agencies are pretty professional, but I think sometimes there's unrealistic expectations of the degree to which they're going to really engage with and actually understand your business and the issues you face. And I think that's the role of the person procuring the research, whether it's a client-side specialist researcher or maybe a marketeer. I kind of think often we're a bit lazy and we think kind of the researcher should go away and solve this for us. And the mistakes often happen at the briefing stage, in my experience.
We need to have confidence that the data they're presenting is really good and thorough and insightful. But then if they go too far down the insight route, the media agencies think that the market research companies are trying to do their job for them. You know, I was in a presentation not that long ago where they were telling the client what media they should be advertising at and at what weight. Now surely that's the media agency's job. So it's trying to, I think we've got to work much more in partnership with market research agencies, and in fact that's what we've started doing on this particular client to avoid that happening in the future, so that we can present a joined up view.
My second conclusion is that to ensure the best chance of an effective, value-for-money research project, buyers need to take time to brief thoroughly, and suppliers in particular need to invest more time in listening and learning about their clients' businesses. Too often the briefings and transactions take place by email, and not enough face-to-face or by phone. Time invested up front pays dividends, but that's easy to overlook when times are hard and everyone is stretched. The reason I think that it's mostly the supplier's responsibility to listen is that in-house researchers need to focus on making sure that the research they commission is effectively communicated to all sorts of users within their businesses. When asked how important it is that everyone in the business knows what they're finding out, our research buyers scored this at around 8.5 out of 10, but their assessment of their own performance at just over 7 out of 10. Market research within the media and advertising business continues to generate a huge amount of data, and the situation that clients want to ensure is that the resulting insights make it out of the presentation or report and into making a difference in business decision making, rather than ending up on the proverbial scrap heap. Unfortunately, over half of our respondents feel that market research projects often end up as a useless pile of PowerPoint slides. Projects like this are effectively money down the drain, added to the in-house time spent making them happen, and they don't encourage senior people in the business to invest resources in research. In a world of perfect information like that enjoyed by James Bond or Jack Bauer, we'd be able to easily source the right bit of data at a moment's notice and in just the right format. But that's not science fiction. Knowledge management is big business, and I personally believe it's going to be bigger than market research, as we start to focus less on asking people questions and more on managing and interpreting the information people give out in the course of their everyday lives. As custodians of a company's knowledge about its consumers, in-house researchers recognise the need to give users quick and easy access to the information they need without having to go through the research team. When I asked them to score the importance of giving users access to all the information they need through their own computers, our research buyers gave this an 8 out of 10 and their performance on it nearly 7 out of 10. So to find out some of the ways in which market research is currently being communicated to in-house users and clients within our business, I asked for some examples.
We're currently pushing through a process of kind of knowledge share to try and improve that, because we've recognised it as probably a bit of an issue in our organisation. So we've set up something called Intelligence Quarterly, which will be a quarterly newsletter that we push out, just to kind of it's sort of set out as kind of short journalistic articles that are quite punchy, so they still want to come to us for all the detail, but it's just to kind of whet interest among a wide range of stakeholders in the business about the range of stuff we're doing. But that's the kind of the push bit. The pull bit is actually a good knowledge share website, which we're currently setting up at the moment, to make it really, really easy for people to kind of search for stuff that's out there. That kind of, at the moment, they kind of have to pick up the phone and speak to us, and we don't really have the resource all the time. So.
We've started using dashboards, which I think are a much more interactive and client-friendly way of presenting data. If you're, for example, if you're presenting a segmentation and you have 6 profiles, having one interactive chart means a lot more than 40 static charts, I think. And I think giving the client the ability to find things out themselves, and if they have a question, what is a lifestyle, what is a life stage, what percentage is this, to allow them to explore it makes them engage more with the research.
So the third conclusion I took from this research, and one which I intend to really focus on to set Culture of Insight apart from other research suppliers, is that we need to think about how we get our message across. The marketing and advertising business is all about effective communication, getting the right message across through the right medium at the right time. At the same time, the people who work in it are among the most demanding consumers of information. I believe market research suppliers can help their colleagues in the business more by adapting better to this communications challenge. So that's it. Thanks very much for your time. Please visit my website at cultureofinsight.com or email me at james@cultureofinsight.com if you'd like me to send you my contact details. Bye-bye.